So here we are again for another round of Drag Race. So we had season 13, episode 3, and it was the kind of the losers circle, which for me, I was looking at this actually, and the great thing is we've blagged access to Untucked, which unfortunately I haven't got as a file, so I can't share it with the lovely Trixie joining us today. But what we actually did was we ran a Zoom, and Trixie just watched it through Zoom. So it's not ideal, but it's having a purpose.
Technology.
I know, right? Welcome to the 21st century. Kicking and screaming. And we have Ace with us today.
He's been very needy.
He's been very needy. Very, very needy. So I was looking at these groups. You there? You having a moment?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, no, carry on. And what I felt at the time, based purely on, I can only remember her surname, Iman. Tamisha Iman. Based on Tamisha Iman's lip sync, I genuinely feel, having seen this group perform this week, that actually Ru didn't make a decision on a winner or a loser in the lip sync, but on how he wanted each group to be, because the two groups work so well as groups. And I can't imagine who you would move over. Like, I can't imagine Utica moving from this group into the other group and it working as well. So I think it was almost like Ru kind of went, okay, so I need to make this group a thing and make this group a thing. And because at the time, I know that lip sync, we both just went,
Tamisha's won it.
What?
Yeah.
The decision was like Tamisha was Janet Jackson and somehow lost the lip sync. So I think it's all been politically part of the game. But, we need to just talk about now, we are going to get to episode 4 before any bitch goes home.
Yeah.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. What do you think about that?
I'm not a fan. Like, they should be going now. Like, it's weird. 4 episodes down the line and sort of nothing spectacular has happened apart from, them voting one person out who they thought was going home. But obviously we know that they haven't gone home.
Wasn't even a thing in the end.
No. So it's like a bit disappointing because I actually thought that they might end up sending Elliot with 2 T's home. Obviously, because they needed an eliminated queen, and now that no one's eliminated, it's like, well, we just watched 3 episodes and no one's gone home.
Yeah. It was almost like that bit in All Stars 4, I want to say it was 4, where Latrice went out. Ru clearly disagreed with the decision, so engineered everything to bring Latrice back, only for her to go again like 3 weeks later, and you were like, brilliant. So that was 3 episodes where literally nothing changed. You just went back to where you were, and it was like 3 wasted episodes. I kind of feel like people should have gone already, because otherwise, why, what, how? I mean, we don't know what's coming, right? So they've obviously rethought the format a little this year. So maybe there's something huge down the line. Because I don't know, did you watch the Next Time trailer?
I did, yes.
So next week the groups merge.
Yeah.
I didn't think was happening for a while, I have to be honest. I thought they were going to kind of whittle them down half and half.
Yeah.
Half chips, half rice, and then be done.
I think especially because I think we said on the last video that this felt very much like a response to COVID, which is keep the groups to about like 6. Get them down until they're then safe to merge. But clearly not.
No, and it's so obviously that's not the reason why. It's a bit of an odd one, really. I think
to me it kind of feels like, I want to say, what season was Raja? And season 3 where you had the Heathers and the Boogers.
Yeah.
Which at the time, because obviously I kind of, Paul had already seen it, I kind of did it as part of my catch up to get to where we are now. Obviously really didn't like it. It was the typical very American high school popularity contest type thing. It's just like, we're good, they're awful, and yada yada yada, drama, unnecessary, blah blah blah. But this actually feels to me like they've kind of taken that concept and formalized it, but in a slightly more structured, less sort of internally just.
I apologise to our 6 to 505 viewers that you said our cat's ass.
Yeah, it's basically less sort of internally destructive. It's basically kind of going back to what Paul was saying earlier. It feels like Ru has basically looked at this group of queens will work well together. This group of queens will work well together. They've got very different dynamics. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and hopefully avoids that kind of sort of unhealthy Heathers boogers type group dynamic going on. Again, could be completely wrong.
But that said, if you're now from like an episode for each group now going to put them together, they've naturally formed cliques and bonds there. So is it actually not that at all, but it's forcing that? So you've got winner's circle, loser's circle moving forward. Is that going to be, or you know, will they find kindred spirits in the other group? Will it all start to merge? I mean, you know, obviously there's a certain amount of, they know they're making a TV show, and you've seen it before where quite clearly they drive a narrative to suit themselves. And rightly so. That's the job of the television show, right? So you know, no issue with that. But you could see, like in the next time clip, they've clearly stood them aside and gone, right. Just look at each other for 2 minutes while we run the camera up and down the line. You know that's what happened, right? They didn't naturally just walk in and each other.
Yeah,
she wouldn't. You know, it's like we all turn up for a panto rehearsal, and even if someone the week before has really done my head in because they didn't know their lines or whatever it was, I still walk in and go, "Hi, how are you? Big hug." You know. Actually, who am I kidding? That's what everyone thinks when I walk in the room, but that's a whole other thing. Oh God, it's that one that can't bloody sing again. That's what you get. So you know, so it's I get it, and I get that, you know, it's the nature of a TV show, and they're gonna push agendas, and there will be, you know, you've seen it before where queens have come out and gone, oh, you know, I was edited badly. I don't ever buy that, incidentally, because I think, but they might have edited it.
Nice try, Fifi O'Hara.
I actually quite like Fifi, I have to say.
Oh, I don't.
Well, for all the fact that she actually was a bit of a cunt, she was an honest bit of a cunt, and I've seen her on stage and she's really good. So you know, stand by your guns, Fifi. I'm with you, love. But yeah, so it's all a bit. I guess it's all a bit of until we really see what comes next. It's hard to judge it, I think.
Yeah, but they did it last season as well, didn't they? They sort of separated them, but then they, at the end of the episode, we saw them sort of meeting each other, and it was like totally different to the episode. So it was like all tea and shade, and then like when they actually meet, it's like, oh my God, it's you. Hi, how are you? But then it's like, why? What's the point in that if you're gonna like? It's just
which actually raises a really good point, and again, it kind of links into sort of, you know, the earlier bit about how we now have visibility of Untucked. Personally speaking, I would like to extend. I'm sure she's watching this avidly.
Oh, obviously.
I would like to extend a personal apology to my opinions on Candy Muse.
Seconded.
Yeah. Based on how she was presented in
the main show.
Yeah, the main show. Came across as a very typical up her own ass sort of queen. You know, has a much bigger opinion of herself than warranted by her ability. Completely different sort of person is shown on Untucked.
Yeah,
actually
the sweetest, caring,
loving,
selfless.
Yeah, lots of self-doubt, lots of dealing with a lot of the stuff that, as they call it, was it larger size queens? I think it's the phrase they tend to use. Have to deal with, you know, in the larger sort of gay community. Completely different person. So yeah, I actually stand Candy Muse a bit more now than I did previously.
Yeah, but I was stand by my comment that runway should have been red to filth.
Yes.
we love you now, Candy, but we still would have read you to the runway. Not even sorry about it. So talking of runway, let's get on to the looks. Okay, so I've got them in a weird ass order here. So I'm going to go from the bottom of my list up, just because I actually made some notes, trying to be semi-professional for once in my bloody life.
I made notes as well, so you're not on your own. Don't worry.
My memory's terrible.
I was like preparing myself.
Well, we actually went back. We'll also move on to UK later on in a separate episode. But I had to rewatch the runway. I'd watched like the US show and then gone, I can't remember any of the UK queens. Shit, who are they? So so yeah, so bottom of my list, just as it was on Untucked, and they went round the room. It's just how I wrote them down. Denali,
Who was actually first, I think, on the runway.
probably. But Denali, I just feel like I want to see more. That's the only way I can describe it. I like the look. I like what Denali's doing. I like Denali off the runway, like in Talking Heads and whatever else. But I didn't feel like there was like a massive, for me, in my head, I can't massively differentiate today's outfit with the ice skates. Literally, just put the ice skates on the bottom of that outfit, and it's the same one in my head. I just don't think the look was different enough. I liked the looks in the day and night, not the day and night, lady and
the issue I had with the lady one is the tights were crumpled.
I
genuinely was surprised she wasn't ready to fill that, because if I can pick it up, I am shit at picking up that sort of stuff.
And she wasn't physically in front of us.
Yeah, someone like Michelle Visage, eyes of a hawk and tongue should have absolutely ready to fill.
Hawks have tongues. Do they?
Of course they do.
Okay. I don't know. I've just never seen a bird go. You know.
See, I've owned birds.
Okay.
But I just thought there was only one runway look that I saw from Denali that sort of was like my favourite, and the rest were like, meh.
Yeah. That is exactly it. I think, 100%. So then I've got say the name,
Trisha Oman.
Trisha Oman. I'm hooked onto the Oman because Oman is, of the like original supermodels, a personal favourite. Because Oman, to me, I can imagine she sort of falls out of bed and just still looked flawless. And wasn't Oman with David Bowie for a long time? And of course in Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
Well, of course I was going to mention the Star Trek reference. So I'm kind of just hooked on the Oman. But Trisha Oman, I absolutely love. And then when I found out that Trisha Oman and I are the same age, well, that was it. I was sold. I'll take 10. Thank you. Wrap them up. Just love everything. I mean, again, I've raved about the Janet thing. I should probably let that go. But, right through the day, the lady and vamp.
The lady outfit, it was the first one that came. I think she came on like second.
Yeah.
And the moment she walked on, it's just like, yes, gorgeous colour. That sort of raspberry, strawberry, was brilliant for her skin tone. And just the styling, love. And then her vamp look, I really liked. So I can't actually picture it at the moment. I just remember liking it.
But that's fine. If you remember liking it, it clearly did its job.
Yeah. And likewise, her end runway look, again, absolutely stunning. And for it to get that comment from Ru as well, clearly she was ticking a lot of boxes from an outfit perspective.
What were you going to say, love?
So I wasn't a fan of Trisha Oman because, firstly, her looks were a bit pedestrian, not gonna lie. But after watching Untucked, I sort of grew on it, and I was like, okay, she's the mother. She's like really nice. I saw her personality, and now I'm sort of like, I like her, but I think her looks could have been a bit better in The Lady and the Vamp. But the actual runway on the stage, I was like, wow, that is beautiful. That is a dress I want to own.
I think I'm a little in the minority on that runway look because the comment I made to Paul when she came out was, the kind of side bow to me worked from the belt down, but I didn't like it up here because I just kept looking at her and thinking she's a head on legs. Like old style Lego before they made minifigures, and it was a head and arms, you could stick legs on it. That's kind of what it looked like to me. It's the same reason why I don't like people who leave their t-shirts untucked, because it just makes you look all body and no leg. This was the reverse. It made it look all leg. See, and but I'm clearly in a massive minority here because, I mean, you two loved it. The panel loved it.
I will say that, and again, because I mean, this will kind of link into some of the stuff I want to say about some of the later queens that we're going to talk about. Tamisha Oman is, and she talks about it in Untitled, she talks about it on the show. She is absolutely 100% a pageant queen, and I also get that is much more of an American thing than it is perhaps from a UK perspective, which seems to be much more like show halls and pubs and that sort of stuff. As a rule of thumb, you know what I mean?
Well, old-time music halls.
As a rule of thumb, I'm not a huge fan of pageants.
I'm not either.
They're too. I kind of go back to what you were saying earlier about Tamisha's stuff. To me, they're too pedestrian. They tend to be very formulaic. It's the big hair styled in a certain way. It's a very particular style of outfit. And I was thinking back over a lot of the queens I've liked in previous seasons. They tend to be the ones that kind of break so people like Sharon Needles, Evie Oddly, the weird queens, basically. Yes, who I absolutely love her aesthetic. And for me, it's that kind of weird blend between either going completely OCC, so like your Crystal Method type, or going to the ultra extreme of the linking with the Oman sort of conversations. I mean, this is probably where Sasha Velour comes into it, but like the ultra supermodel. Like Gigi Good actually is another good one for that. The flawless cheekbones, the very, very styled sort of outfits. Tamisha Oman is amazing, and you really do get a sense of just what a wonderful human being sort of Tamisha is from the Untucked episode, especially. But as a pageant queen, I think her styling it's very middle of the road pageant for me. That outfit was amazing, but it's still a pageant outfit.
Yeah,
which is fair. So next I've got Joey J, who my biggest shock this week with Joey J was, oh, you're a cub. That was like your shirt came off and I was like, oh, okay, you're a furry. Yeah, that's ticks a personal box, but you just don't often see it in a queen unless
it's actually part of their schtick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because there was that one on UK last year. Who was it? Gothic Kingdom? No. Yeah. Who was it? Crystal.
Mm. It was just Crystal. That was the name.
That was it.
Crystal.
Yeah. Obviously, made a huge impression.
Was he the Canadian one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's yes. Yeah. So to be a, quote, pretty queen, but still be like furry from there down. I was like, oh, okay, no, I'll go with it. But the other thing with Joey is there's something about Joey really reminds me of my friend Matt, not Matt Brown, who will watch this. Other Matt. So anyway,
I do also have a friend that reminds me of.
Right,
of Joey. Yeah.
Perhaps you've all got
like,
one.
oh, okay.
Perhaps you've all got a friend like Joey now.
Yeah, definitely.
But I have no friends, so
yeah. I mean, I've only got one thing to say about Joey is put a wig on.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
That's literally all I've got to say.
Weirdly, was he the one that was the red with the blonde wig in the very first episode when they were in the lounge?
Yeah, with the chicken feathers.
Yes. Weirdly, I mean, granted, okay, maybe that's a particular week that wasn't great for him, but obviously, because I think you actually said while he was doing the runway, when he came out, obviously, this is obviously the final runway, where he came out basically with the pink wedge again and goes, I'm surprised he hasn't been red to filth for his hair. And literally the very first thing that Michelle Visage says is, what about the hair? And that's when he goes into it. So obviously we have the whole sort of wig thing. I hope he actually has got a better wig game than he wore in that first episode, because frankly, if that's the best he can do with wigs, then I actually prefer him as he goes now with the pink wedge.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, as the looks have all worked, but I just think it's literally the cherry on top, isn't it? Because it's gonna reduce all of his looks down if there's not some light and shade, and that could be a massive variance. I'm not saying from this week on always come out in a wig by any stretch. If the whole pink, not the colour of the pop stuff, hairdo is part of the shtick, then and it was said a few times today, you know, do you well, you know, make you work for you, absolutely. But I just think to throw the wigs in on and off, I think it will just elevate Joey a little bit in the competition, because clearly talented, clearly can put a look together, and clearly actually a nicer person. This is the thing, right? After everything else, I can't think of any of them I don't like as people. That's the other thing. Is there's kind of no baddie yet, and I think
which is interesting.
You always need a baddie,
because especially from previous like series, again, because obviously having watched them all through as part of my catch up, so Paul's basically got to revisit them. You usually get a feel probably within about the first or second episode, even with watching the Untucked as well, which generally tends to cement your opinion of someone rather than completely change it. Again, I'm so sorry, can you use answers? There is literally no one in here that I sit there and think, oh yeah, God, get them, and the sooner they're gone, the better. I would genuinely quite like to see where all of them end. And of course, this isn't a show where that's going to happen, because they are at some point presumably going to start getting voted out. Please, just so we've got less queens' names to remember. Jesus. We're going to bring more queens in as a surprise.
Basically, for New EastEnders, it's going to run for 40 years.
But there isn't any.
No one gets limited; they just die of old age.
Yeah, there isn't actually any. Rosé, I thought, interestingly, was kind of from the first episode was shaping up to be a bit of a, oh yeah, she's going to be the upper self New York queen that we actually don't really like, because she's got a bigger opinion of herself than is actually warranted based on her experiences. But again, she's another one that just this episode completely flipped that around. Even during the main episode itself, I'm genuinely curious to see how the group dynamic's going to form, because there is no one that I look at, I just think, oh, will you just fuck off already?
And Rosé is next on my list. Seamless, fucking seamless. We could do this professionally, kids. Right, so I got the Moschino thing. They called it Moschino. Is it Moschino? I've always said Moschino.
I always said.
I never. I'd say both. I don't really associate with that brand. I
it's like
love
Primark
it,
and Primark, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
If you're watching, comment below and tell us.
Yeah, if like the marketing people from Moschino are watching, you know, carry on, kids. So yeah, I like.
And don't forget to like the video.
Yeah, like, subscribe, bullshit. We don't care. But you know, we do this because we enjoy doing it. If one person watches it, great. If 500 watch it, over the moon. So yes, I got the Moschino thing.
The Morsey thing.
Yeah, that from the minute she arrived, I knew what was going on there. I thought it looked a little rough, but I got it.
Yeah, the comment I made is that it looked. I liked the concept. I loved what she did at the end with the bag to spell out her name across the back. That was very clever. But the outfit as a whole looks homemade and not brilliantly homemade at that.
Yeah.
Like some of the lines looked like crooked, looked cheap, it looked in some parts badly sewed. Not a fan.
How did you feel about that one?
I just thought that she was trying to do Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, because it's very Tim Burton, but the way the lines were, I was like, oh, Sally. And then she said, oh no, I designed this, I painted it, and I was like, looks like it as well. Looks like
love? Really?
that
oh
bag,
God! Yeah, now you said Sally.
Sort of, the bag needs to be thrown away.
Yeah. but for the final runway look,
and that really loved her vamp look. That night and day for the two outfits.
I can't remember her vamp look for the life of me. Oh, was that the lampshade?
Yeah.
Actually, I did love that, but I did think she just ought to be possibly hanging up in BHS. And my nan used to work at the British Home Store, so I know BHS well. And yeah, I mean, but I liked it. Yeah, and I thought it was nicely made and nicely presented. But for her final look, and this was more not when she stood up. I think facially when she paints, I said to you,
sorry, I've just seen what he's written
what
down.
I'm about to say.
I'm pissing myself internally.
You know what? You saw it, don't you? Right? You saw it. So basically, facially, when she's on the runway, I just kept thinking it was Courtney Act.
Yes.
Just facially, she looked like Courtney Act. Who I love, you know. So,
even commented.
yeah, but when she was sat on the sofas in Untucked, all I could see was my shower scrub. The scrunchy,
a loofah.
Scrunchy things. I just saw one of them, but it was because and obviously it's not designed to be judged when you're sat on the sofa, obviously. So you know, that's not really a comment on the outfit, other than I just sat there and went, oh, I just want to pour Sanex on you and rub you all over my body, which now feels dirty. Didn't mean that. But yeah, so moving on, we get Kimura. Bless Kimura. Bless Kimura. I genuinely, when we thought there was going to be someone going home, was absolutely odds on Kimura was going home.
Yes, definitely.
No other reason than I just can't imagine holding up the challenge, and she clearly did, because you had all of the they didn't put in all that calling Kimura to the stage business into the episode for no reason.
Yeah.
That clearly was long enough. You know, it wasn't oh, where's Kimura? Oh, hang on, she's coming. It wasn't. It was clearly like, well, it's been 15 minutes. You know, I pay these people by the hour. Union rules will kick in, and we won't get the episode wrapped on time. It was enough of a problem. I mean, you know, hopefully she's learned the lesson and whatever else. I was surprised it wasn't mentioned anywhere else, though. So I was a bit like, well, okay. She's stunning. She's very pretty. I mean, you know, we saw in Untucked a bit more of her personal story about how she comes from a strict and, from the sounds of it, stereotypical Asian family. But you know, but I felt for Kimura, because I mean that can't be hard to come from. Whatever, it can't be easy even. Yeah, must be hard or can't be easy. Take your pick. But you know, whatever it is, whether it's a strict Catholic background or you know, or cultural or religion, it's got to be tricky. It's got to be fucking hard. And then when you had, say the name, thank you, saying that she's done this for 30 years, her mother has never seen her do a show, you just suddenly think, oh my god, I just can't imagine it. It's almost impossible. So I get that Kimura's probably got some headspace going on, that's possibly an issue there.
That reminded me a lot of, I think it was Kim Chi had a very similar thing with her family, where it's obviously you know, they are sort of different. I'm not sure what Kimura's ethnic background is. Obviously Kim Chi is Korean.
Yeah.
I want to say Kimura's possibly Japanese. I don't know. But again, not sure. I don't know if it's mentioned on the show. If it was, I clearly missed. But there is very much, and again, I think there's always that danger, because it's something that comes out as well when, especially with Tamisha talking about sort of her setup of, you know, associating the culture with the attitude, which is obviously not the case. You know, it's like saying, you know, that if you're black, you're more likely to be homophobic. You know, completely ignoring just how homophobic a significant percentage of the white population can be, for example.
Or as I call them, family.
Yes, or indeed as I call them, family. But yes, that there are very much, I think, certainly expectations that Kim Chi talked about having from, you know, sort of her parents, that Kimura talks about from having from hers as well. And I think that was another, it was very much a humanizing moment for Kimura. Because I think up until that point, she'd kind of just come across as being this quite, what you see is what you get. There is no real depth to her as a person. Given that was actually one of the things that she was read for on the performance side of the runway, is that yes, you look stunning, but where's your personality? Where? Which again, you know, we've joked about that on previous shows when, you know, we expect them to come out with the show us your vulnerability, but it's become almost a cliche with runways. They mean it in a very certain way that isn't really how we would sort of perhaps indicate vulnerability. But it was very much that. And cry, bitch, that's essentially what it was coming across as. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, just Get over it. But I think seeing some of the Untucked stuff, and again how she reacted to that when sort of the fact that she's clearly got some potential for comedy chops there. She's got good timing. The whole double take and where's my competition?
Yeah,
You've got a laugh on the panel. That's what we need to see more of from Kimura, because we know she can nail sort of the look if she has enough time to prepare. Again, you sort of think season 13. You're not going to have 5-6 hours to slap your makeup on. Learn to get quicker.
Yeah.
Also, as far as that, I think it was Denali who said, or it might have been Joey, that something about a 3-hour job that looks like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was very that. I just thought if sort of missing something, it was very flat, the makeup. Like, obviously she had a time crunch. She was like running late to the runway. But obviously the other girls have sort of trained themselves to get it done in about half an hour. You need to find a look which gets done in about half an hour. Like just your staple look, you can just throw it on, everybody know who you are. But every single look, it looks like she's done it in 50 minutes, but it's not a good 50 minutes. It's just like those little round eyes. It's very, I don't know if you've seen the meme going around, but the glow up, where it's a guy with blue eyeshadow, and then like, yeah. That's what I just thought her as. It's like her makeup needs to start improving, or something needs to be added to make it like, wow, to match her outfits, obviously.
Yeah. This is probably a good point again for those of you watching, or was it 600 to 500 of you? If you haven't watched last week's episode yet, so obviously, we've been joined by Trixie, who is the fantastic Tom, who is a fantastic, amazing makeup artist. So when anyone's talking about makeup and styles, Tom is the person to go to. So once again, Tom, for the benefit of those people who aren't here, where can people find you and your amazing makeup skills on social media?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Tom MUA. Facebook Tom MUA, and Instagram it is makeup_by_Tom with 2 M's. And then to find me as I am, Trixie, then I'm on TikTok and Instagram as at _Trixie J_. And yeah, you'll find me. You'll probably find me anyway, because I've got the same profile picture.
But seriously, if you have any interest in makeup tutorials, just different looks, follow sort of what Tom's and Trixie are putting out there, because it is phenomenal.
And don't listen to what I say about makeup, because I'm shit. So finally, our little favourite, Utica.
Adore Utica. Utica is my standout from this season so far.
Oh, just the 4 looks, because there was a different one in the song. Yeah. I have no bad words. I have no criticism. I have no maybe ifs. I just adored everything exactly as it was.
Yeah, same. I think she's my winner for this. Even if she's not the winner, she could get Miss Congeniality from what we saw on Untucked.
Totally, 100%.
So adorable, and obviously I live to be that queen. Just help out another queen. I wouldn't be the bitchy one. I'd just be like, "Oh, do you need help, love? Do you need a scene zone? What do you need?" She gives off that vibe anyway. She just seems like friendly, People are comparing her to Thorgy Thor and all those, and I'm like,
I'm just seeing more Katia. I'm just seeing more of a Katia vibe to me.
Yeah. She's definitely like a mixture of Thorgy Thor and Katia, in the face. But her humour and her dress sense is just completely unique to her. That's why I like her.
Yeah, I mean. Of all of them, the vamp look for me was, I don't know. 100 million queens down the line of 40 years, however long we've been doing Drag Race now. And I just can't, off the top of my head, someone will probably tell me if I'm wrong. Matt will tell me. Matt always does.
He really does. Thanks, Matt.
No, genuinely, keep doing it.
Yeah.
But I just can't think of anyone who's been quite like that. As a whole thing.
I mean, obviously, going back to what I was saying before when we were talking about Trisha and my opinion on the pageant queen look, it comes as no surprise to anyone that someone like sort of Utica would be far and away my favourite. The vamp look, the runway, I absolutely adored, and I adored it. Not, I mean, the outfit, yes, amazing. It's very much the kind of aesthetic I like. Very sort of asymmetrically symmetrical, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but it makes sense in my head. But her makeup, well, I play obviously a lot of sort of video games. I like playing video games where you get to like tinker with your character and do kind of weird like facial tattoos and all that. Yeah, and one of the things I love is that she does this amazing makeup where she had like almost like a stylized facial tattoo going sort of down the forehead. It reminds me of stuff you might get in Star Trek. It's like Star Trek Discovery with some of the alien races, like the trill where they have like the thing going down. Absolutely love it. And her main runway look, which was like Stevie Mix meets rodeo clown meets fairy, as in unseelie fairy tale evil.
I can remember hanging around with goths at sixth form in the late 80s who would have absolutely fucking murdered you for that look.
I mean, I remember in sixth form for me, I remember we called them the Rainbow Brides, and they were basically goth stylings. So they'd have like the very sort of goth hairstyle with like the braids and everything, but they would tend to go, rather than just plain black, they would wear like sort of pastel colours. So it'd be like pastel violets and pastel mauves and all of that sort of stuff.
Oh, there was strawberry switchblade.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. So we called them Rainbow Brides. Yeah. And is just, I mean, she's amazing aesthetic. Her makeup game, oh my God, I adore it. And she's got just this amazing person. And interestingly, as we found out from the main show, I know nothing about Seventh-day Adventists, so I've got no opinions on the church. But clearly a very spiritual person, clearly a very religious spiritual person, because she belongs to a particular faith. But it's just an absolute warm coat on a cold day feeling. She's probably the spiritual mother to Trisha Oman's actual mother when it comes to that group. And again, I'd be interested to see if the two of them stay in the show long enough, what kind of dynamic they have going on, because they seem to be very much the heart and soul of that particular group. You think?
What
did you think? Now that we've waffled on for hours.
Well, obviously Utica, she's my favourite. She will always be my favourite, alongside Gottmik. Love them both. But that final look, oh my God, I need it. I want that dress. I need it. I want to wear it every single day. And that makeup, I've literally got something like designed on my iPad ready to go. That is exactly like that. But
really? Oh wow!
But I can't do it now because it'll be copying. It's like it's very paint-like, but yeah. So yeah, hopefully you'll see that in the next couple of weeks. I'll do it as an homage to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invert it or something.
Yeah.
Interesting. Talking of Matt and talking of Rainbow Bright, he's going to comment. So Matt is a former lodger of mine and now one of my very dearest friends. And I bought this is a complete nothing to do with a Drag Race story. I bought my sister for her 30th birthday, I think it might have been, a Rainbow Bright doll, because it was her favourite doll when she was a child. No, Eleanor. She was 10 years younger than me, and I used to torment her with it, and I used to do things like going, "Death to Rainbow Bright," and throw it downstairs. So anyway, I've had this doll kicking around my house for ages, and it freaked.
He was kicking this doll around the house for probably,
and it freaked Matt out. I don't know why. It just really freaked him out. So I started doing things like putting it in his bed holding a knife. So the fact that you mentioned Rainbow Bright and we know Matt watches these, I instantly was like, oh God, I'm going to get a text.
For the record, Matt, I did not know that until he just mentioned it then. So if I have caused you any trauma, I am deeply,
He's not going to sleep for a week.
I can't. I'm also slightly amused, but I'm also deeply, deeply sorry.
Oh, right. Okay. I think let's park that there because I'm conscious that last week's video was 45 minutes. I've got no idea how long we've been talking. So yeah, we love everyone. They're all good queens. It's going to be just really interesting to see where this goes, I think. So come back next week if you're one of our 5 to 505 viewers.